Oh, hey there. It's a new headphone from Meze video, so I gotta make sure my ears are nice and cleaned out for this one. This episode of Some Gadget Guy is brought to you by viewers like you, all of the incredible people sharing content across social media, and the generosity of my patrons at patreon.com/SomeGadgetGuy. More info on those awesome nerds later in the video. The folks at Meze sent these my way to test drive and share some thoughts. The new Meze 105 Silva, a premium headphone from one of my favorite audio manufacturers. The Silva arrive as a variation on the 105 Air I recently reviewed. This continues in the middle of Meze's offerings, positioned just slightly above the Air in MSRP. As I mentioned in the Air review, the 105 series is a middle point between the Meze 99 as a comfortable consumer headphone and the 109 Pro as a more analytical option. The Silva here take that idea a step farther and split in between the 105 Air and the 109 Pro, aiming to carve out a specific, if subtle, niche of its own in Meze's overall lineup. In any review, the first thing we can always praise on Meze, this design is not just aesthetic. I think they look great, but it delivers one of the absolutely most comfortable headband designs I've ever worn. These light spring steel bands secure an elastic head strap. The Silva are actually a bit heavier than the Air, but you'd never know it. The weight is stretched and buffered in a way that doesn't just hit the top of your skull. This comfort first design also achieves something special. There are no hard hinges or flexing pieces. There's nothing to creak or groan. It makes the hardware as silent as you can make a headphone when handling, adjusting, or even moving your jaw around. Combined with really nice ear pads, they're comfy and supple out of the box. The break-in period should be really short. It's always one of my favorite things. I love putting new Meze cans on my head. And some other differences. The new cable for the Silva is reinforced and Kevlar wrapped. It's thicker, softer, better shielded, and that should also help reduce any handling noise, cable like rubbing up against your shirt. And this one's kind of interesting. This one's kind of geeky. I like it. Meze includes a USB-C adapter with the Silva. This is similar in performance to the little dongle DAC that we got with the Meze Alba earbuds. I think this is an important statement from a premium audiophile brand. Meze is encouraging more folks to try this kind of gear out while acknowledging a lot of people out there might not have a stack of hardware to drive nicer headphones. And most of our mobile devices are now lacking hardware like headphone jacks. Meze, looking at folks out there listening on streaming services, and phones are probably the first devices reached for to listen to music. Of course, that idea makes sense when we're looking at some premium earbuds, but we don't always treat expensive cans the same way. So yeah, folks might need a straightforward plug and play way to jump in and start using some nicer headphones. I think it's a nice consideration since phone manufacturers have largely abandoned us. And the audiophiles out there who already have fancy gear will be able to drive these even harder. And I love how direct Meze is with their claims. I mean, we have the Air and the Silva are a little different. Listening to the Air and the Silva sound a little different. The Silva is tuned to expand on the mid-range. And if you followed any of my videos in the past, you've heard me whine and prattle on about being a mids junkie. I always want more detail and articulation. I want more in the mids. The Air are a gorgeous and colorful reproduction, which I preferred over the Meze 99s. The Silva bring in a little more detail than the Air, but it's not radically different. Both headphones should be called 105s, but there is a reason for this to exist, even if the differences are subtle. The differences are specific. There's so many debates about headphones in audiophile communities. Should we be trying to grade on accuracy, presentation, what style of tuning? And I keep falling back on how wildly different my experiences with headphones are against even my family, the people in my own home. Every ear is different. So I keep coming back to Meze as one of the most comfortable presentations for a consumer-facing headphone. From the 99s to the 105s, we're not dulling. We're not slathering on muddy, dull bass. It's just so easy to listen for longer listening sessions. But between these two, I will say the Silva are a touch more aggressive than the Air. Like the little snare taps in 50 style rock and roll, J.D. McPherson. They stand out brighter on the Silva, and on first listen, they got me to blink a bit before I got used to them. Or also on female singers who work the mic really close. You probably will catch a bit more sibilant. I'm listening to Lorde, stoned at the nail salon, that can sizzle in some unpleasant ways on my ribbon headphones. The Silva are riding right up to that line. The air or the hiss at the decay of a phrase is more noticeable. Like the Air, but more pronounced. You get into strings. Maybe on a movie score, or even something like The Beach Boys, Good Vibrations. I get goosebumps when the cellos are driving under that theremin. The position of instruments is very good, and the tactile sound, the feeling of cello bow against string is so clearly represented. Even with this expansion in the mids, we still haven't lost that juicy rolling bottom Meze is known for. My new bass test is Lullaby from A Perfect Circle, and when you need them to, these cans will drive deep, rattling lows that you might feel more than you might actually hear. So no, like the Air, I would not put these on a list of professional grade accuracy headphones, but they kind of aren't designed to be on that list. And the brand continues to drive home a lush and comfortable consumer-facing sound. Now, we just have a couple different flavors to choose from to cater to slightly different tastes. Just to revisit it real quick, the USB-C adapter is a nice touch. We talked about this a bit in my Alba review. I think it's a good way to get folks started. It's solid, low noise, low distortion, if maybe not the beefiest amp, but I have to admit, I did most of my listening and testing on the Silva with my Shanling UA4 mini dongle DAC. This has a bit more power, it opens up the cans a little more. I think the Silva really do wake up when you drive them with some beefier equipment. Honestly, that's true of most headphones. You won't really know what they sound like until you beef up that amp. I would actually be kind of curious, folks in my audience, is it better to have a good starter sound out of the box and then there's room to grow with some other gear? Or are these headphones priced high enough we should just expect people to bring their own gear? Drop me some comments down below. I digress. Because lastly, in terms of audio quality, the casing on these cans is semi-open. They aren't as wide or as spacious as some of the other cans in my collection, but they also block a little more noise around me. Like I can hear my computer fans better on other open back cans, that can be distracting, but the 105s might not feel quite as airy or as open as some other options. Always pros and cons between natural presentation and reducing distractions around you. So, where do these stack up against some competition? I am a very big fan of the planar presentation, or the planar punch. Different types of headphone hardware have different traits we generally associate. Because I'm a mids junkie and I really love aggressive presentation on detail and articulation, I often lean towards planar magnetic headphones. Starting with the Air, but on both sets of 105s, I think Meze has delivered a balance that really appeals to me, and that's challenged my preference for planars and ribbons in a way that I haven't heard on a lot of other dynamic driver headphones before. I am not saying better or worse. I really don't believe in trying to rank something as personal as a headphone in such a simplistic fashion. As soon as you climb above $100 on a headphone, you should really be trying to find the specific sound you like the best. Once we're $400 and $500 into some headphones, we should be getting very specific, and that's where the Silva shine. These are more expensive than the Air, but they arrive with a slightly fancier walnut wood finish. They feature a slightly different driver and different tuning. We're working a new cable, and with a dongle DAC included in the box. The total package makes sense to me. I think Meze has carved out a space for these specifically, still a part of the model number family, but a different flavor for folks who might want that different sound. And I have to praise this brand for continuing to support their own systems, like seeing the dongle DAC arrive in the box, or their compatibility with the boom mic. This whole video, my voiceover was recorded with the Meze boom mic add-on. Super fancy headphones are always fun, but being able to double up or triple up on premium audio solutions, That always feels real good. Like, take the nicest headphones you own and use them for gaming or for your work video calls. It's always fun getting more bang for our audio buck. So I will, of course, leave some links down below where you can find more information on Meze products, the 105 Silva specifically, but also their entire collection of audio gear has always been a personal favorite of mine. I love digging into new audio gear, and the folks who get to see the results of my testing and reviewing first are, of course, my incredible patrons, all of the people over on patreon.com/SomeGadgetGuy. This list of names scrolling by on your screen right now. A huge thank you from the bottom of my heart, as these are the folks that are helping to keep the lights on here in the Gadget Lab. They get early access to content, production diaries, behind the scenes, all my videos in 4K, the private Discord. They're basically the coolest tech pals in the universe. So I hope you'll check them out. I hope you'll consider joining the community at patreon.com/SomeGadgetGuy. Now, you know where you can find me across the rest of the internet, at SomeGadgetGuy, basically everywhere. But these days, I'm trying to spend a bit more time on the Mastodons, a little on the Blue Skis, and a whole lot less so on the Facebooks, Threads, Instagrams, and none at all on that dumpster fire site. And I will catch you all on the next review.